Hi everyone, what's up? I'm Olaf from CrazyLabs. I'm super excited to be here with you, and I'm gonna talk about level funnel optimization, why this is so important when you A/B test and worldwide launch your game. So I've prepared some slides for you. Let me screen share it now. Boom, you should see it now. So this is it, level funnel for pros. How can your game remain profitable over time? This is me. I work as a game product owner at CrazyLabs. I help to create monetizing game experiences. I work closely with developers who publish their games with us, and I try to optimize KPIs both on engagement and monetization side. And we do a lot of A/B testing to find the good working features. I will tell you a little bit about CrazyLabs itself. So we have several labs. We are working on hyper casual games as well as casual games, and we have one lab that is under the radar yet, and I cannot tell you a little bit about it, but there soon will be some big announcement. Let's go to the next slide. It doesn't want to show. That's the one. So we are top 3 mobile publisher developer with over 4.5 billion downloads. We are working with 350 developers around the world. Here you can see some of our games, such as simulation games like phone case DIY, acrylic nails, or tie-dye. We've published ASMR games like ASMR slicing and soap cutting. And we have also Puzzle Amaze game and arcade Run Sausage Run. Just if you are wondering if hyper casual train is not yesterday thing to jump onto, so it's not, the genre is growing year after year, actually more rapidly than the whole gaming industry itself. I would just say that 1/3 of whole mobile game downloads accounts for hyper casual games. So definitely there is a space to grow here for everyone. Everyone can give his or her chance to be in the top charts. The entry level is so low that this is the beauty of this genre, that there are so many unexpected hits in the top charts from people who even didn't try to make games before, and I find it super interesting to work with such studios. And this is the chart just so you realize how important it is to optimize the game after the launch. So usually developers originally think that, okay, they have this nice CPI, then they create the version with some levels that pass retention. We try to scale it, and that's it. Let's go to the beach and relax. So actually, no, it's not the first month when the game monetizes the best. It's actually initial 3 or 4 months. So this is super important to put focus on and many efforts on optimizing the game KPIs in initial phase after the worldwide. And later, those hyper casual games can monetize and last for months. So it's not like it's been a while ago when the genre started, when it was just a hit and it went. It visited the chart and it went. It's now more merging towards something like casual games, that you do live ops on hyper casual games and you can maintain them and keep them profitable over longer time. So it's very important to pay attention to the optimization. So now let's go to the optimal level funnel itself. Initially, and the slide is stuck. Let's wait it to load. Yeah, I wanted to bring your attention to some 4 points, how we approach it in the first place. So for sure, for starters, you want to onboard the player, let him or her understand the game rules, understand the controls, what's the game all about. And only after he learns, you want to create some challenge. In hyper casual, we are talking about very mild challenge. Note that we are targeting usually non-gamers, people who are not playing PC games. So it's like they are sparing the spending this free time by playing those hyper casual games or watching some series or consuming news. So if you feel the game is easy for you, probably it's not. Make it easier, because for hyper casual players it will be too challenging sometimes. And then you want to balance the difficulty. So basically what I've said, not to keep it too difficult, make it also easier sometimes. And once you launch it, soft launch it, analyze the chance, what levels can be problematic and when the players drop exactly and why. So everyone here probably knows this 101 famous difficulty curve graph on the right. So you want to keep the initial levels short and easy. Only after then a few levels, introduce some challenge. Again, don't do this brutally, just a little bit. And if the player feels powerful, then give him a relief moment, so he feels even more like he accomplished the skill in the game and that he progressed a lot. So the next level, which is actually easier by design, it feels easier because he's better at the game. And then do this sign thingy going on over and over, increasing the challenge a little bit, again, very moderately. And just mind not to keep it too hard, because you will frustrate the players. They will churn fast if they will not be able to complete the levels. And the opposite side at the bottom, if you make it too easy, it will become too boring, and the end effect will be exactly the same. The players will just churn, and we do not want them to do so. So here is some example why we want to keep the levels short. This is an example from Scout People game of ours. It's kind of a simulation game with several steps. So when I'm talking about shorter levels, I don't necessarily mean from level start to level end, but every step that you perform like a closed chunk of the level. So first of all, if you keep them short, you reduce number of taps to progress to the next level or the next step. And it's something that we saw that it can increase engagement quite a lot. Every tap you introduce in the level flow, like UI tap, I mean, I don't mean controls, is driving some more chance. So here in Scout People, we've matched two steps together. Initially, you needed to drill the eyes first, and only after confirmation, try to scalp the whole head itself. So we've matched it together that you did it all at once, and the stick kind of snapped to the eye when it encountered it. And also we removed the delay from the tool, so it felt more snappy. The player felt more in charge of being this artist who sculpts the head. As you can see, the ARPU increased quite a bit, which was nice impact on such, I would say, a small change, let's say. Then after a few levels, you may want to introduce what we call boss levels to increase the difficulty. But again, for hyper casual, boss level in our lingo doesn't mean you have this big monster that you need to defeat. Sometimes you have, if you have an arcade game, maybe there is some big guy that has some bigger health and you need more shots to kill him, like a bullet sponge. But for instance, in here, in a maze, what we did, we changed the level design and the level look. Yes, it is a little bit challenging, a little bit more challenging than regular levels, but mostly it just feels different. So it breaks the monotony of the game, because typically all the levels were single screen puzzles, and here in those boss levels, the puzzles were bigger with camera following the ball, so you don't see the whole maze in a single screen, and it just kind of all even pretends to create the challenge. But believe me, for hyper casual players, it's already some sort of challenge. Then after introducing the challenge and then going with some regular levels, you want to give the player the relief moment. So this is where the bonus levels kick in. And those are the levels where you should completely drop the fail condition, just make the player to sit and relax and do some mindless stuff to usually being rewarded by in-game currency. So only after that he would be ready for another mild challenge. We also have something that we call VIP levels. Those basically are optional levels that the player can watch for watching a rewarded video. And here the content should feel almost luxurious. Those levels should stand out very much from regular levels, and make sure it's not mandatory to play those levels, because we want to, this is something the player should like to enter, but it shouldn't be mandatory to progress in the game. And from the analytics side, always make sure to analyze those VIP or optional levels separately from the regular level funnel. So regular level funnel is one graph that you follow the churn of all the players, also the ones that do not wish to watch the ads or pay in-apps or whatever, however you log this content. And VIP levels have separate graph just for those optional levels. So let's talk about analytics a little bit. Hyper casual is data obsessed genre. So without any analytics tool, you are basically blind and you will not be able to improve anything. I mean, you may have luck, you have hunch, everyone has hunch and opinions, but data is real and opinions are different. So choose any analytics tool of your choice. They are all more or less the same. What you need to do is to implement specific events when the level starts, when the level ends, and if it ended with completion or the player failed, this is another type of event. And if the player if the player retried the level, it's kind of similar to fail also. So only after fetching those events and creating a graph out of those, of course, all of those tools do this automatically, you can analyze what levels might having some issues. Here you can see two graphs, or graphs of two games, with total players level funnel that is gradually decreasing from level to level, and like in the game on the left, you can see like natural decrease. The graph should be very almost flat, let's say. And this graph at the bottom is showing completion rate. So how many players that started the level actually completed it. We usually want to keep it above or equal to 95%. So 95% of the players should complete the level. If it's below, there is some issues, and it affects the total players level funnel dramatically. As you can see in the game on the right, in initial games we have some heavy drops in completion rate, and the curve on the top is much more steep, and it means that just less players are reaching further levels in the level funnel. Just to clarify on what's completion rate, I created this one-on-one explanation. So let's consider we have two level funnels. We start with 100 players for easy math, and let's say level 2 and level 3 are exactly the same in both funnels. Level 2 has 97 completion rate, which is cool, above 95. But in level 1 we have different ones. So what happens is that even if you have like good completion rate in the further level, it doesn't necessarily actually mean that this level is not hard. It means that all the almost mid-core players that completed the hard level that was before also completed the next one. But it's like narrowing the funnel to those more skilled players. So in consequence, in the end, in level 3, if you drop 35% of players in level 1, in level 3 you end up with just 63 players. Whereas in the second group, where level 1 was also with high completion rate, you get 94 players, which is like 30% difference between the groups. So this is super important to mind completion rate and keep it above. We say the threshold is 95, but it's not like super black and white in any case. I wanted also to show you that hard levels can monetize. It's not like you should keep it super duper easy, and it's because it will become boring. Some challenge is cool once in a while, like we show in this floaty graph. But here I wanted to show you the correlation between the revenue and the number of fails. So as you can see, if you have uptick in fails, you will also have uptick in revenue, because you will trigger interstitial earlier. The player may wish to watch an RV to revive or skip the level. And until the completion rate is high as well, this is fine. This creates engagement. The players eventually complete the level, feel like they did something nice, and play forward. But if actually those fails are with the players that do not complete the level, this is something that will hurt your funnel dramatically. So you can, it's not like you cannot have fails in the funnel, you can, and it's cool, but always check the completion rate and if the players could proceed further in the funnel. And in the next slide that didn't load, that one, I wanted to show you the correlation between completion rate and the churning, so drop rate. So obviously, if you have a low completion rate, the players will feel frustrated and they will be more likely to churn, while in levels that have higher completion rate, the churn rate is much smaller. So this is another way to put what I've just said in another 3 slides before. And here I wanted to show you what's the benefit of monitoring the level funnel. So then after you got this data, you got the completion rates, like number of fails, number of retries, number of duration per level. You can cherry pick the good performing levels in the level funnel and shuffle them. Pick the good ones, bring them earlier in the funnel because they will create more engagement, and that may go a long way. For instance, in this example, we accomplished 25% more usage, and we've boosted ARPU by 20% because of this increased engagement. And actually here, if you look closely, you will notice that the pink line is the better one with the better funnel. And it initially looks like it has lower completion rates, right? But actually, this is a bit misleading, because when you check time to complete, you will notice that the new levels took a little bit longer time. So when you would distribute it within the usage timeline, so it's not like level to level axis, but minutes axis, the new levels had higher usage completion rate. So this is a bit, may sound a bit complex, but you need to consider also how long the levels long. I know that sounds like a contradiction what I have said before, that keeps the levels short, but believe me, those 2 examples were short, one and another. It was just a little bit more time to complete them. So definitely you would like to cherry pick the good levels, try some new funnels and A/B test them, because A/B testing is the key in any live ops game that you will try, whatever the genre. Hunch is good, but everyone would have another opinion. And if you stick to the hunch, you may go lucky, but you may fail also. But if you just A/B test it, you have solid data that you can work with. And if you A/B test, I would also suggest to keep single feature in a separate group. So for instance, if you plan to add both levels, add them in a separate group with just both levels. If you plan to add bonus levels, add a separate group with just bonus levels, because that way you will see the impact of particular feature. And of course, later you can combine them, but it may happen that bonus levels are decreasing the usage, both levels are increasing engagement. And if you try just combo, the gain would not be so big if you just introduced feature alone, let's say. So this is very important to separate the cohorts, but on the other hand, you need to collect enough amount of players, because if number of players per group is too low, then the data is noisy and you cannot work with it. So to sum it up, I would say first onboard, make the player learn the game controls and rules first, and then introduce the challenge, and do it gradually. Don't like throw all obstacles you have because they are so cool and you designed them in a month or so. Keep it gradually, let him learn how to deal with the new mechanics or obstacle or whatever you introduce in the game, And just at the time it feels a bit repetitive, introduce something new. So do this gradually with this nice difficulty curve I was showing in the slides before. Yes, so like in the third point, turn up and down the difficulty in a sequence so the player feels challenged and then he feels relieved in a bit. And later in the end, monitor individual levels performance. That will bring you a huge benefit that you can create this diamond level funnel that is creating most engagement, and of course, because of most engagement, monetize better as well. So this is all I got for you guys. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you found it, at least in parts, interesting. And I am ready now for some questions so we can start the Q&A session now. Thank you so much.